belief, decision-making, and behavioral cognitive biases. Anchoring bias. Anchoring bias arises when initial information influences subsequent judgments. For instance, a real estate agent's listing price can anchor buyers' perceptions, affecting their willingness to negotiate. If the price is high, buyers may perceive the property as more valuable, leading to higher offers, despite its actual market value. Biases under anchoring bias include common source bias. Common source bias arises when study participants share similar traits, leading to skewed results that may not accurately represent the broader population. This bias compromises objectivity and generalizability by presenting a limited perspective influenced by shared characteristics, hindering the ability to draw accurate conclusions applicable to diverse groups within the population. Conservatism bias. Conservatism bias manifests as resisting change, clinging to initial beliefs despite contradictory evidence. For instance, individuals may ignore new data when making predictions or solving problems, favoring familiar ideas over updated information. This bias impedes adaptability and rational decision-making, leading to suboptimal outcomes in various domains. Functional fixedness. Functional fixedness restricts creativity by concentrating solely on objects' typical functions, impeding problem-solving. For instance, using a mug solely for drinking, overlooking its potential as a pen holder. Overcoming this bias involves exploring alternative uses for familiar objects, fostering innovative thinking, and enhancing problem-solving abilities in various situations. Law of the instrument. Consider relying on a single software program for every task, neglecting potentially more suitable alternatives. This illustrates the law of the instrument, restricting solutions and innovation. It's akin to seeing everything as a nail when you only have a hammer, limiting problem-solving by overlooking diverse approaches and tools. Another bias is apophenia. Apophenia is the human tendency to find patterns in random data, like seeing shapes in clouds or faces in objects. This bias leads us to attribute meaning where there is none, often resulting in false beliefs or interpretations based on coincidence, reinforcing superstitions or fueling conspiracy theories and pseudoscientific beliefs. Biases under apophenia include clustering illusion. Clustering illusion occurs when patterns are perceived in random events, like repeatedly getting heads in coin tosses. Each toss is independent, but our minds seek patterns, leading us to believe there's a clustering effect when it's just chance. Illusory correlation is when we perceive a relationship between unrelated events, like wearing a lucky shirt and winning a game. Our minds make connections where none exist, leading us to believe one event causes the other when it's simply chance. Pareidolia. You know when you see faces in things like clouds or toast? That's pareidolia. It's our brain trying to make sense of random shapes by finding familiar patterns, like faces, where none really exist. It's like our mind's way of seeing the world in a fun, imaginative way. Another bias is the availability heuristic. Availability heuristic guides decisions based on readily recalled instances, like fearing plane crashes after recent news reports, despite statistical data indicating air travel safety. This bias arises because vivid or recent information tends to be more mentally accessible, leading to overestimations of event likelihoods. Biases under availability heuristic include anthropocentric thinking. Anthropocentric thinking prioritizes human interests above all else, often overlooking the environmental consequences of our actions. For example, clearing forests for urban development prioritizes human habitat needs while disregarding the ecological importance of forests for biodiversity, climate regulation, and maintaining ecosystem balance, illustrating the impact of anthropocentric attitudes on environmental conservation efforts. Anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism occurs when human traits are attributed to animals or objects, like portraying animals with human emotions or characteristics. For instance, talking animals in cartoons or movies exhibit anthropomorphic qualities, blurring the distinction between human and non-human entities, and reflecting our tendency to relate to the world through familiar human experiences. Attentional bias. Attentional bias involves focusing on specific information while disregarding others, shaping perception and decision-making. For example, Someone might pay more attention to negative feedback while ignoring positive comments, leading to a skewed perception of a situation or individual, affecting emotions and behavior in response.